The world is full of urban legends, remarkable stories that spread like viruses around the planet, mutating and evolving until no one can remember which ones are true and which ones are urban legends. In this episode called Out of the Blue, we show you 3 stories, all linked by jaw-dropping surprises. First up, an idyllic family vacation in South Carolina turns into traumatizing terror. Then, a North Dakota man takes a quick detour and makes a diabolical discovery. And finally, a Minneapolis woman's fairy tale romance descends into a nightmare. Watch all 3 stories and decide which ones are true and which ones are false. Find out if you guessed right at the end of the show. First, it's a story we like to call What a Gas. Kathy Mitchell is a hard-working mom who savors family vacations. But what should have been a dream trip to South Carolina quickly plunged into terror.
I'll never forget that feeling of just like dread. Like, what am I gonna do?
For the Mitchell family, 2003 ended with some sublime days of R&R.
We were doing all those typical things families do.
But on the morning of the 4th day, panic is about to shatter their perfect holiday.
The phone rang and I was quite groggy. The gentleman on the other end said, "Hello, I'm the hotel manager. There's been an emergency, and you must do exactly what I say."
Suddenly, Kathy is very much awake.
He says, "There's a gas leak. Under no circumstances are you to go out the door of your room, because in the hallway, the gas levels are very high."
Kathy has no idea what's going on.
The manager tells me, take a towel, soak it with water, and seal the bottom of the door. Well, then we said, well, how are we going to get out? Is the fire department coming? And he said, they're on their way, but this leak could blow at any time. You've got to find something to smash the windows.
For the Mitchells, time is running out.
I'm relaying all this information to Matthew. So Matthew's like looking around.
Adrenaline pumps through Matthew as he desperately tries to save his family.
So by this time, the kids are freaked out. I'm freaked out. And then the hotel manager says he was really worried the fire department was not going to get here in time. He said, take the mattresses and throw them out the window because most likely you're going to have to jump.
Cold reality starts to sink in. Kathy and her children have just been given a death sentence.
We hauled these big mattresses off one at a time and somehow managed to get them through. We just watched them fall. It was a good 4 stories up. And then we just looked at each other because that was kind of the moment of like, oh my God, we're gonna have to do this. We're gonna have to jump.
It's a horrifying dilemma. Stay in their room and be gassed to death, or jump 4 stories with little chance of survival.
And just at that moment, there's a banging on the door.
Incredibly, help has arrived, just in the nick of time.
Oh, God, we're like relieved because we figure, okay, it's probably the fire department, finally. But the gentleman's standing there without a gas mask. And he's got a blazer on with a manager's badge from the hotel. So that totally confuses us.
But the manager has a decidedly different perspective from the Mitchells.
The front desk informed me that there were excessive amounts of noise emanating from a room. We tried calling the room, which is a procedure, but we couldn't get through because the line was busy constantly.
Gary decides to investigate.
He seemed stunned to see me standing at the door. The room was a mess. There was damage everywhere.
He's saying we're gonna have to pay for it, and he's threatening to call the cops.
The Mitchells have a lot of explaining to do, but they're in for one last big surprise.
I start telling him this person is on the phone, and he said he's the hotel manager. And at that moment, I can hear the voice on the phone laughing hysterically. So then we knew it was a prank.
The Mitchells are victims of a bizarre prank that risked their lives and ruined their vacation.
We were all so frightened.
A family is saved as they are about to jump out of a fourth-story window, only to learn they're victims of a crank call. But did it really happen? Or did we just play a prank on you? We'll let you know at the end of the show. Mini-myth number 9, Ball Pit Fall. Susan Berry took her 3-year-old son to a fast food restaurant in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The child played in the ball pit for 10 minutes before complaining of being hurt. Susan assumed it was just a banged elbow, and they went home. Tragically, the child died an hour later. Upon further investigation, a family of baby rattlesnakes was found living in the restaurant ball pit. Was that tale venomously veritable or bitingly bogus? It was fake. People have been reporting this favorite legend of snakes in the pit since the early 90s. On Urban Legends, we show you 3 stories. You have to decide which ones really happened and which ones are merely legends. So far, you've seen the tale of the Mitchells, who, believing they were in danger, trashed their hotel room before discovering it was a prank. But is it true or false? Find out at the end of the show. Now it's time for our next story. It's called Dumpster Dive. Hero might not be the first word that jumps to mind on meeting Guy McMurray. But a near tragedy would not only make him famous, but force him to face a brutal truth.
If you were to ask me if something like this was possible, I would say there was no way that this could ever happen.
It's 2006, a regular day at the office for Guy, until he gets an early morning phone call from his girlfriend.
She wasn't feeling well, and I just wanted to know if she could spend a couple more hours at my place, and of course I said it was fine.
Except he can't get a hold of his girlfriend, Anna. He senses something is wrong.
I just had this really indescribable gut feeling. It was just something telling me I needed to go and see if she was okay.
Following his hunch, he heads home.
I was taking a little shortcut through a back laneway.
But this harmless detour will derail his entire life.
I heard something. I didn't quite know what it was. I didn't know if it was maybe a kitten. It sounded like a cry, or I wasn't sure. Just getting louder and louder.
Guy traces the mysterious sound to a nearby dumpster.
I could see a garbage bag where I think the sound was coming from, and it was just slightly moving. I lightly set myself down in the dumpster. I didn't want to step on anything. It was terrifying to me.
What Guy finds is beyond comprehension.
I moved towards the bag it was sort of open, and I pulled the garbage bag, and there was a newborn baby. Couldn't even fathom how tiny and precious this little being was, screaming at me.
Instinctively, he snaps into action.
I wrapped it in my coat to try to keep it warm and safe, and I called 911. I was just very happy to have found this child and hopefully saved its life. I was angry at whomever had done this, and I was just overtaken with all these different feelings.
Finally, the police and EMT arrive.
They assured me that the child would be okay. They said it was a little girl. I think I just felt that from that point forward, that child would be okay.
As Guy returns to his office, news of his heroic rescue spreads like wildfire. By the end of the day, he's getting bombarded with requests for interviews and statements.
I did a newspaper interview. I had a couple media outlets come and talk to me about it.
But tragically, The parents of Dumpster Baby are yet to be found.
We were really trying to draw focus to who this baby's parents were.
But something else is troubling Guy. After giving his statement to the police, he'd gone home to check on his girlfriend, but she was nowhere to be found, and he still can't get a hold of her.
I actually started kind of thinking she just wanted to break things off with me.
Guy will soon have his answer. Less than a week after finding the baby, the police return.
They were asking me a lot of questions about Anna, and I started to think the worst, being that I hadn't heard from her in 4 days. Maybe something really terrible had happened.
But nothing can prepare Guy for what he's about to hear.
The police officer told me that Anna was the mother of the child that I'd found in the dumpster, and that I was the father.
It's an outrageous claim, but he knows it can't be true.
It was an impossibility that that child could be ours. I mean, Anna wasn't even pregnant.
But incredibly, Guy is wrong.
The police revealed to me that the morning I found the child, she gave birth to a child on my kitchen floor. That time, there was such a strong mental block on her that she wasn't able to recount what happened. Anna had went to the hospital, and despite what the doctors found, Anna still emphatically said she was not pregnant and had not given birth. She had suffered a traumatic psychological breakdown. I am 100% certain that Anna did not know she was pregnant. She wouldn't have kept that from me.
But others aren't convinced, and the child is placed in a foster home. For Guy and Anna, it's a long way back. As Anna recovers, they decide they want to fight for custody of their daughter.
It was close to a year of court battles and social workers and psychological treatments before we were given the okay to be the rightful caregivers to our child. The fact that I saved my own daughter's life and that I was completely unaware that I was a father or that my girlfriend was pregnant, I think that's a miracle.
A man rescues an abandoned baby, only to realize 4 days later that it was his own daughter he saved. But did it happen, or are we just talking trash? Find out at the end of the show. Mini-myth number 6,152. Dear, oh dear. A love-struck 7-point buck followed its natural instinct and sparred with a rival elk in the backyard of Mark and Carol Beyer in Veruca, Wisconsin. The couple returned home and were astonished at the shocking scene that had played out in their yard. The brave buck, anxious to dominate the rival elk, had fiercely rammed his head into that of his opponent, only to discover, too late, that his adversary was actually a concrete statue. Was that a true tale of animal lust gone bad? It was totally true. On Urban Legends, we show you 3 incredible stories. Your mission is to sort out the totally true from the fantastically false. So far, you've seen the tale of the Mitchells, who destroyed their hotel room before discovering the joke was on them. And the story of Guy McMurray, who saved an abandoned baby, only to discover it was his own. But which ones are real and which ones are fake? All will be revealed at the end of the show. In the meantime, watch our final story. We've named it Undercover Romance. Donna Anderson is a writer who's covered some jaw-dropping stories, but nothing compares to the terrifying tale of Kim Adams, a Minneapolis child psychologist.
She was just gone. No one knew where she was, and no one could get in touch with her.
Kim had always wanted to travel, and in 2001, she decides the time is right. She heads to London, England.
She wanted to go abroad, she wanted to have an adventure, and she did.
Hi there. How are you? I'm Robert.
Part of this exciting new life takes the form of a whirlwind romance with a charming auto salesman named Robert Hendy Freegard. Months later, Robert asks Kim to marry him.
Kim wasn't looking to get married, but by this point she was in love with the man, so she said yes.
But a week before the wedding date, Robert suddenly postpones it with an audacious claim.
They had set a date for the wedding, and about a week beforehand, Robert called Kim's father and said, you know, we're hearing some terrorist chatter, and it's very disturbing. There's discussion that there might be another 9/11. And Robert was very nervous about this and felt that it would be better to postpone the wedding.
How could Robert possibly know this classified information? He lets his fiancée in on his secret. He's really a spy.
Robert reveals to her that he wasn't just a used car salesman. He was actually doing undercover work, very much like James Bond.
Now that the truth is out, Robert invites Kim to become part of Her Majesty's Secret Service. Always up for an adventure, she's thrilled.
And what that would entail was they would move to Scotland and live in a lighthouse and watch for Russian submarines.
But being a spy has strict rules, and Kim's student loans need to be paid off immediately. Because of Robert's security clearance, he can't carry unsecured debt, and neither can his wife.
She didn't have the money, and he didn't have the money, so she approached her parents.
Despite reservations, they agree to lend the couple money. Their skepticism would prove to be more valid than they could know.
Kim's parents wired her the $35,000, and immediately after that, Kim disappeared. She was just gone.
No one's heard from the couple for over a month, and the FBI starts investigating. What's more, a look into Robert's past raises some serious red flags.
Robert was anything but easy to track down. He was a ghost.
It's not surprising for a spy, but when they contact the British Secret Service, they get a surprise.
There was absolutely no sign of a Robert Freegard as could possibly be associated with the British Intelligence Service.
Is the Secret Service protecting one of their own? Or is it Robert playing some other game? And more importantly, what has happened to Kim?
Not to worry. We are with you every
The
step.
FBI taps the parents' phone and waits for contact from the couple. They don't have to wait too long.
Robert finally called to ask for money on behalf of Kim to make sure she could pay for her spy school training. But he refused to say where he and Kimberly were.
Not knowing what has happened to Kim, the FBI decide to try to lure Robert out into the open.
Through Kim's mom, we told Robert the only way we would give him the money is if Kim's mother could see her daughter in person.
Kim's mother meets Robert at Heathrow Airport with $20,000. There is no sign of Kim.
When Kim's mom saw Robert without Kim, she was very frightened, but she did an excellent job. She talked to him, she was very friendly, and Robert tells her that Kim is in the car park. Kim's mom kept her head. She remained cool. We were very worried. And lo and behold, Kim is waiting in the car. Mom. And when Kim gets out to greet her mother from the car, New Scotland Yard emerges from every corner of the car park, and Robert's arrested.
Turns out Robert has severely brainwashed Kim and has so much control over her, she was scared to run away.
He threatened her. He intimidated her. I believe it was a very frightening ordeal for Kim.
But what about the spy story?
Since Robert was about 19 years old, he had developed a personality of posing as a British spy.
And that's not all. Kim isn't the first to fall for his con.
He would meet women, he would charm them, he would take their money, millions of dollars if you add up all of his victims.
Robert Hendy Freegard was found guilty of theft and kidnapping. Kim Adams thought she'd met the man with the golden gun. Sadly, what she got was a spy who conned me. But did it happen? It's time to reveal the truth about our 3 incredible stories. First up, it's a story of the Mitchells, whose vacation was thrown out of the window when they were victims of a cruel crank call. But is it fact or fiction?
This was a really awful prank that was played. And I've just played a prank on you.
This story is fake, but pranks like this were widely reported throughout the US in 2009. Next, it's a tale of Kim Adams, who fell head over heels for a con man pretending to be a spy. But is it real?
This is Special Agent Jacqueline Zappacosta with the FBI, and this is a true story.
This story is totally true. Robert Hendy Freegard was sentenced to 9 years in prison for theft and kidnapping. Which leaves a story of Guy McMurray and his unbelievable story of discovering a baby abandoned in a dumpster, only to find out he was in fact the father of this child. But is it true?
While I do enjoy dumpster diving, I did not find a baby in the garbage. This story is fake.
This story is fake, but Urban Legends loves tales of lost and abandoned babies turning up in the darndest places. That's the end of our episode called Out of the Blue. Were you able to unmask the revealing real from the foolishly fake? Don't worry if you couldn't. You'll get another chance to separate fact from fiction in the next installment of